Yeah, you feel like you're ready? In a good place?
Yeah, man.
Alright, well, with that, let's say welcome back to the Counter-Strike Casuals podcast. We're back in our normal settings. Brearley is back home in his den, his his gaming den, and hopefully we've got some better audio now and we're back to normal, yeah?
Yeah, it wasn't that bad, was it,
It
last week?
wasn't too bad. It was a bit echoey in places, but it was fine. I did most of the ranting and the talking, so you didn't didn't have too much to echo on about. But yeah, all good. How are things with you?
All good, mate. Yeah, it's been pretty full on. Obviously, I was away last week. Back this weekend. Did we have any games this weekend? Yeah,
Did
we had some, didn't we? Played some Premier.
we play some Premier? I think yeah.
Yeah, enjoyed it.
We had a one with the hat trick of results. One win, one loss, one tie. Did we? I think.
Yes, yeah, you're right. Yeah, and yeah, pretty good, mate. I'm pretty. Counter Strike's been pretty interesting as well. Like the whole scene. Thunderpick was good. I'm still enjoying watching CS2.
Good. Oh, let me get my notepad because I timestamped the last one. Oh no.
Okay, yeah. You not got it?
I don't think so. I'll make some notes.
Oh, mate.
Go on. I can type and make a note. Sorry. Continue.
So
Continue.
yeah, enjoying watching CS2. It's still interesting seeing like what the meta is going to be, what teams going to perform, and still enjoying playing it as well. And all of Rostermania that seems to still be going on. Falcons making noise and stirring shit up.
Well, you know me. I like to have some structure. So let's start with my structured piece. So let's go into part one of the podcast, which is before we get into Rostermania hype again. Since we last recorded, Counter-Strike 2 released a big update, which meant that workshop maps were welcomed in, which I think everyone can agree is probably overdue and about time. So we're going to see the return of fun maps and player created maps and some different takes on maps and stuff like that. We before we played actually jumped on some community maps to try out some new community servers to try some new maps, right? And we were playing a bit of Orp Lego and stuff. I mean, I know what happened where I was on and I was excited, and then I was about 15 minutes in and I was like, okay, let's go play Premier. But it was fun. There is a lot of random servers out there running weird maps, so if you haven't checked that out, get out there and have a play around with the workshop maps and the community maps, because there's some cool stuff. And I think it's going to see the revival, the return of community servers now. I wasn't sure why would people play community servers unless you could have like different maps and try different things. I'm not really sure what the point was. You might as well just play normal official matchmaking or the casual servers through CS2. But yeah, community maps.
It's just it's something a bit different, isn't it? Like back in the day, we used to be. That's all you had basically. It was like you just used to go on random servers and play, and if you wanted to have an actual match, you had to find a team, find someone that wanted to play against you. You'd have to have 5 friends to play with. You'd have to have a server, or they would have to have a server, and you'd have to know all the configurations and everything to set up a game. It was pretty long-winded, but
Well,
um,
yeah, for those, if we do have any younger listeners that never played 1.6 or CZ or Source, when you went to join a server or to play a game, it wasn't how now it's like got the UI where it's commercial, casual, competitive, practice, and then you don't see any. You can't go on and choose like a random server if it's called Diz's server. That doesn't show right now unless you go through to the community servers. But that was the default, that just the community servers tab, wasn't it? And it just have a list of like, it would just load and go and it just have like 10,000 servers all in Ukraine, all of them playing Dust 22 24/7 non-stop without a break. Or
yeah,
they'd have like 100-man servers, some of them. And from that, what spawned was like incredible communities, which is where I basically found my love of CS, which was through a casual Condition Zero server called Axia. My one was, and basically it was a group of European-based players. We had a forum, we had a website. You would go on there. You would have a really nice rotation of maps, like all the standard maps with some fun maps thrown in, like Pool Day, Rats, all these kind of good
Yeah, and
stuff.
you used to vote, didn't you? At the end of the game, you used to vote for what
Yeah,
map you wanted.
exactly.
Yeah.
So let's say there was 10 of us on, just playing, chilling, having a good time. The next map, it would be like Dust 2, Pool Day, AWP map, plus like Italy, like a hostage map, and then everyone would vote. And it was cool, man. It was really good. And what it brought was variety and a nice casual
It
player
was. It
base.
was like it made it all a bit different, didn't it? Like we used to play. I remember like 3 in the morning, we'd just be playing like hide and seek on our own server, or we'd be playing a climb map or pool day, or you mixed it up a bit more than I do now, anyway.
But this is it. And I think when we go on to Premier, I think the last 10 Premier games I've played, 7 of them have been Mirage. And it's just
Yeah,
standard, procedure that you're going to get Mirage. And we even had like a semi argument with the player because he was getting upset because we didn't ban something straight away on Premier this week. He was calling everyone dumb because we didn't vote like nuke or something off the list. And it's like,
yeah. But we cancelled it on the next vote, and
we did.
yeah.
We gave into peer pressure. We're weak human beings, and we just thought, oh yeah, whatever. We don't want this angry.
Well, I'm not fussy at all. Like I'll play any map.
No, but
So
that goes to show that we didn't play a different variety of a map, and we ended up probably. I think we played Mirage. So the introduction of community maps for the community servers, I think, is a great thing, and I do think it's going to help the casual player base, which sometimes I think we might forget sometimes how casual we can be. Everyone knows me by now, I think, or you do at least. When I get an idea in my head, I can't get it out. I want to do it. It's happening. So when the release of community maps came out, I kept saying to you, I want to get us a server now. So I have got us a server. We have a server. We are going to be playing casually on it from time to time. It can be doubled up as a match server. If anyone wants to, if anyone out there wants some,
yeah, bring it.
right? If anyone wants, yeah, I can get wingman maps on there. We could do 2v2. If we can get some more players, happily do some 5v5 scrims. So shout us out. I will put the server in the comments, in the description of the video. So definitely check us out because I want to get that going. I'd love to create a community like the old school ones that we used to love, where we have a nice rotation of maps. Some of the settings will be a bit different to your standard casual servers that are on the CS UI because, or the ones that are dedicated with Steam and CS, because I think they're a bit, I don't know, it's not 10v10 for a start. I mean, that's just too much. It's an 8v8 server, which I think is a nice balance. But yeah, anyway, I'm going on about my dream for this server, but we've got a server. We'll see how that goes. So, big win there with the community maps. Would love to try some different community made maps, and I think that's.
I do think now, we have a friend, a mutual friend, that he used to make maps on Counter Strike, and he was pretty excited about this new engine he could make maps on. So I think a lot of map makers are going to be working pretty hard to create some pretty new, maybe iconic maps for CS2. It can be a CS2 map, and I think within the next year or so, we're going to see some decent maps potentially on the map pool.
Yeah, well, I think Anubis or Ancient or Cash, one of them, or they all started as community maps, I think, or some of them. So
Anubis definitely was, yeah.
right, so good map now in rotation and in professional use.
I think that's what makes CS so good as well, like all the community made stuff. Like the maps that they create, and Valve are very selective in the maps they choose, and the ones they do choose are good. Like I know some people say, "Oh, this is shit, this is shit," but we have a high bar of expectations, and obviously not everybody's going to like the same maps, but the maps they do choose are good. They are very well balanced, and if they're not, it's only slightly, and they end up changing bits and do make it more and more balanced. So
I would
yeah,
still argue that we could have Vertigo out and Train back in. That would be fun.
um,
Uh,
I'm on the fence with that. I like they're
you
both
like
okay.
Vertigo?
They're just okay, both of them.
No
I
comment.
think maybe I prefer Vertigo to Train. No,
No.
no, they're the same.
No.
They're the same.
All right, no, it's not. They're not the same either. But anyway, let's just disagree to disagree. The other update or improvement that came in was not so much on the CS engine side or the client side, the game side, is that Valve updated the seedings and the naming in the majors. So if you haven't seen this, anyone, they've basically renamed the major parts, which if you listen to this podcast ever, you know that I've moaned so much about the wordings that they use for these majors, because they'd be like, it was contenders, challengers, and legends. They'd be like, oh, they're through to the legends stage. It's like, what does that mean? What does that even mean? So they've renamed them to opening. So I guess that's just the opening stages, which was the challengers, elimination, and the playoffs. So it still makes it a bit easier to understand which each stage is. But more importantly, they've updated the seeding. So basically, the first seed will play like the middle of the range seed. The second will play 10th seed, as opposed to before, where I think the first seed would face the last seed. So you could end up with a real like either one-way game where the top seed and the bottom seed, the top seed was going to trounce them, or you'd have quite a well-ranked team, which was FaZe in one instance, where they had a really bad qualification and ended up being seeded really low, but playing against teams that were seeded quite high, like Navi or someone like that. So it hopefully will make the majors a bit fair, and I think they're...
Mate, what are you on about? Basically, in a nutshell, you're saying we should get better matches up in the playoffs.
Yeah, we should.
That's it, basically, yeah.
Thank you
Because in the last CS:GO
fun.
major, we had some like really big matchups, like big teams playing each other early on, and that's not what we want to see, is it? We want to see the big teams in the playoffs.
We do. So we're more likely to see the likes of Fnatic and stuff leave earlier. So it's only a good thing.
Oh no! If they even get that far.
If they even get that far.
Yeah, we're not on that. Are we on rosters yet?
We can go to roster now. Let's go on with rosters now. So Rostermania is continuing.
Yeah,
let me just make a note.
It's not slowing down.
Nothing's slowing down.
So, just while we're talking about Fnatic already, for those that live in a bubble, Mezzy's left, who's been kind of a backbone for Fnatic for the last 2 years, more than 2 years.
And flying the flag for UKCS.
Yeah. Well, he's gone to Vitality, which I think is brilliant. I'm really happy for him, and I think that's a really good.
Is it actually announced yet? Was it? I don't
know. It just says he's on no team, but yeah, he's pretty much agreed to go there. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's pretty much done. But that's a good replacement for Magis. Yeah, I think that's a strong switch for Vitality. I feel like Vitality are one of those teams that just like land on their feet all the time.
Yeah, they seem to have a sensible, higher management that seem to know what they're doing, and I do think that Magix is obviously a big loss, but yeah, Mezzy coming in hopefully means that it's not going to be as a bigger hole as it could be, basically. But
yeah, I mean, Mezzy's a pretty well-rounded player, and I think he's going to help out with the team.
The other
go on.
Now, the other interesting thing about that is obviously with Magis going to Falcons, which is I think done deal, or as done as it can be. It means that Sonic is like already just bringing his best players over, starting to fill the gaps and basically create this super team. But I am wearing my G2 jersey because Nico in a U-turn was meant to go and is completely just turned around and decided to stay at G2. And instantly when that happened, my cynical brain went to like Nico was using that as a negotiation tool to get paid more at G2, and someone tweeted him that as well, which I saw, and I was like, that is blatantly what happened. Like, and fair play, get that bag. We've said this before with Sonic going to Falcons. It is
Yeah.
about money. Just say it is, fair play.
I think someone said to me once, you've got to keep changing jobs. If you're working for a company, you've got to keep changing jobs, or at least threaten it to get a pay
Yeah.
rise or to get more money. Like, you're not just going to get the same money if you stay at the same place.
Yeah.
And Nico's worth it. And if he can get paid more money, then great, do it. I don't think everything is about the money, but you want to be in a good situation that you're happy about. But if you can get paid more money to do that, then great, good on him.
Well, he tweeted back to this person that said, I can't remember who it is, otherwise I'd credit them, but he said that you're wrong. So you're wrong that I didn't use basically the Falcons' move as a negotiation to get a better G2 contract. But there must have been some uplift or some improvement on his terms. I fail to
Who
believe.
knows, man? I mean, maybe he'd thought about it and he just made that decision that, no, I'm happy here. Why should I leave? Like, I might not be happy.
Okay. Yes, the world is that perfect.
No, but they might not have been offering him that much more money as well, because although we're led to believe that Falcons are, spending a fortune, they might not be paying the players like a ridiculous amount. Why would they pay like completely over the odds?
Well, if you've got the money at your disposal, which we're led, we think they do, and they wanted to create. Well, okay. Interestingly, the CEO and Sonic are on HLTV confirmed whilst we're recording this, so we'll listen. Hopefully, that'll give us some insight. Probably be talking about it next time. But if they do have the funds that we think they do, and they wanted to create this team that we were led to believe they wanted to create, Nico is the type of player you do overpay for, or pay what as much as possible, right? Because with Nico, that brings the intent of what you're doing. You're bringing in one of the best riflers ever, to do it, and you're bringing with it the name as well. You bring fans with it. Half the bloody community and half the bloody casters and media and talent support him. I mean, you have all those casters and analysts go mad over Nico, so you've got instant kind of backing from the media, Counter-Strike media. He doesn't get enough props from us, really, does he? Let's be real. I don't think we haven't hammed Nico up as much as some others, but we should. So with that, if they were to create this super team, then that's a missed opportunity, I actually think, to allow him just to get a bit more money at G2. They should have gone
What
ham.
the reason is then?
Why he's not gone?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he got offered more money at G2, albeit probably not loads, which is why he said to this tweet, what you're saying is not true, because he would have perceived it as, I've not got an absolute massive jump up. I would have got a bit more money. So he's just like, why would I leave G2? We're like second, third best in the world. Probably going to go on to win more things. Falcons is starting again, even though it's got Sonic, Magisk, and Boros at the moment, with a few more other big names.
Is Boros confirmed?
Well, they've benched everyone other than Boros.
Okay.
So Falcons have just benched everyone except for Boros, and Magisk is coming in. So it looks like it's going to be those two. And then Snappy is apparently verbally agreed. So Snappy, Magisk, and Boros is a really good core in itself. If you were to bring Nico in, you wouldn't even. Whoever the fifth is, you wouldn't give a fuck. Doesn't matter. I mean, whoever. I could go play there. We've got a chance.
Yeah, those three. Yeah, if they get Nico in, I do think they need.
Well, he's not going, is he? Yeah, but if they had,
they. If they get a good AWPer, then I'll be on board. Until then, I'm not on board. It just depends. It depends how they do it. Like, I think with Nico, he's probably looking at it in terms of he's happy where he is, and is he going to get credit for going to Falcons if he does win anything? I think Zonic's going to get a ton of credit, to be honest with you. Snappy will get credit. the credit's kind of shared out. And I think with G2, it's like his team. He gets most of the credit if they win, him and Monacy anyway. And I think he also likes playing with Monacy. I think he feels a bit of a big brother kind of figure. And I think Monacy also feels that as well, because he said he'll go wherever Nico goes.
Well, okay. So what the one thing Nico would want, you would assume or think he wants, is a major because he's not got the major. So he's never won a major. What get it? Where's better place to give you a major, in G2's current setting, or Falcons with Snappy in-game leading, Magis support, Boros,
Just told you.
and what you think better at G2? Your chance of winning a major.
If who's open for?
Well, they were trying Monacy, weren't they? But and that's also maybe why Nico didn't go, because G2 manager came out and said we're never selling Monacy, basically. So I wonder if because Monacy was just like not able to go as well, they couldn't reach terms. I don't know. Again, we're just speculating, and that's why we're here to do it. But I wonder if it was a package deal, and it was like Nico and Monacy. That both those two were like, we won't go unless you go, mate. Like if someone to sign us, we're both saying.
Well, G2 have said like Monacy's not for sale, basically.
Yeah, but everyone's got a
Which
price.
makes me
That's
think,
just a way of also making sure the buyout's big enough, I think.
well, this is what I also heard, that Falcons might have a bit of money and they might be throwing a bit of money around, but they're not willing to pay ridiculous amounts like people are assuming. They're not paying ridiculous amounts, especially for buyouts. And I reckon Monacy has a ridiculous buyout, and I don't think they're going to pay that.
So that's what I mean.
I feel like I've heard some Pius's name thrown around. I know that
really?
I feel like everyone's name's been thrown around, but yeah, I heard his name being thrown around. I don't know if that's got any weight behind it, but I don't even know where I saw it, but I'm sure I seen something.
Well, I personally think Nico had a better chance of a major if he was to go to Falcons, but let's see. Could be wrong.
I don't know. I'm not caught up on all these players, all these teams that are just like, let's just stack the roster with loads of sick players. I do think team chemistry helps, and we're seeing that with teams like Mouse and teams like Ents doing so well without completely stacked rosters. I know that Ents have got some good players, but I wouldn't say they're ridiculously stacked. I think team chemistry is helping. And what did I say about FaZe the other week? Although they did go through a rough patch, I was saying they've got a bit of a benefit on some of the other teams that are changing rosters and getting new players, because they've been together a long time and they seem to get on really well.
Yeah.
And that's helping them, especially now with a new game that's come out where I think there's less, what's the word? Maybe less tactical based, and a little bit more instinct, and they all play off each other really well.
No, I agree with that, and I think it is showing, especially at the moment with these wins that they're getting. Well, what you're saying is actually true, because the stacked rosters we've seen most recently haven't performed. Navi, when they went and bought all these major guys, Imma and JL and stuff, that didn't quite work. I wouldn't say that it was a stacked super team, but it didn't live up to its expectations. And look at Cloud9. Cloud9 was like the super team, wasn't it? Like we were so excited to see Cloud9. Everyone was. And what is it? They've now got Boomage back. And they actually looked pretty good in Thunderpick. I watched Boomage and Cloud9 against FaZe in the overpass map, which I think Cloud9 won. And Boomage looked pretty good. Like he looked like he has not been away from Tier 1 Counter-Strike at all. He looked at home almost. He was holding angles. He was holding long on overpass with an AWP.
Is Hobbit still calling?
No, Boomage has been calling, I believe.
Okay.
Yeah.
So they can get rid of Hobbit then?
I think that's probably the next step. Yeah, I think that's what happens next. But let's see. I mean,
who's open?
Boomage was, well, it's between Boomage has been splitting it and sharing it with Perfecto, I think. But when I watched the overpass, Boomage was on that map. He was holding A on overpass a lot, long A.
Yeah,
But I'm excited to see how that works now because I feel like Boomage as well has been a long time lurking in the tier 2 shadows for too long,
and
really.
I think Electronic and Perfecto will be happy to have him back, and I think the chemistry between them all will be quite good. I feel like Axel's maybe the best player, but he's not like a superstar where he's like he wants the attention and he wants to be the best player. So I feel like they all feel comfortable playing with each other.
Yeah, yeah,
But I feel like we've got a lot to get through with Rostermania because we've got Heroic and Australis. Like, what's going on with those two? I mean, I feel like we've been talking about this for the last 2 podcasts, but what are Stan and Yabby going to do now? Like, I feel like there's lots of spaces here, there, and everywhere opening up. Like, who's going to replace Mezzi on Fnatic? We literally have nobody. Me personally, I think if we get rid of Dexter and we get a decent in-game leader and one decent rifler, and we're laughing because Afro, as you know, is a sick AWPer. He's really underrated. Like, you've got to watch him, man. When you watch him, he's so good.
all right. I'll pay more attention to Afro, but I'm not buying into this we at Fnatic chat that you're trying to spiel out at the moment.
No, you're not with your
Sh-
G2 top on,
Sure,
and your heroic top, and then where's your Australis top? And
surely
oh,
you.
I'm surprised you got your FaZe top on since they just won.
I know it was actually an internal debate as to which one I wore. But I thought I'd go G2 just to mix it up because I haven't actually worn it on the podcast before.
Oh,
It's not my fault. I'm a fan of Counter Strike. You can't just call me out for being
but you just hate Fnatic.
specifically for. No, I don't, and I don't even hate Navi anymore because Simple's not there.
Yeah, I'm excited about them, but we talked about them last week.
So the
Go on.
interesting thing though with if Snappy joins Falcons, that opens up an IGL slot at Ents as well. And the rumor that's been doing the rounds is that Glaive's going there. But why wouldn't Heroic think of Glaive is what I was thinking. What I don't know if the Australis
I
Heroic
think
connection's so
that-
bloody weird.
Yeah, I think I guess it's like Manchester United and Manchester City type.
Well,
type.
Heroic don't seem to have a problem. Heroic players don't seem to have a problem going to Australis, but
I think, yes, Australis are like the boys, though, aren't they? They were kind of like the biggest team in Denmark, and then so maybe they kind of idolise to play for them.
but imagine if
And
if Dupree signed full time for Heroic and Glaive went and they started some mini Heroic comeback, and I don't know who else you get in because personally, if we spoke about it last week, but if I'm Heroic, I don't bring back Yabby and Stan. I just think you've burnt that bridge, so we move on.
What if Caden ended up going to Australis and Yabby and Stown didn't?
I wouldn't rule anything out. Well, just on the subject of Cadian, I saw him playing with Yakinda and Twists against Olaf Meister and Get Right in a just like a scrim, which was quite funny.
Do you think Twists is going Falcons?
Well, I thought Liquid was his move, but I don't know now. I would be surprised if he moves, but I wouldn't like him to move now. I think FaZe really look like they've got their act together again.
FaZe could go on a run here. Everyone else is like we've just said.
Turmoil.
He's flipping and flopping and switching and changing. FaZe could go on a run if they can hold it together.
That's it. You're right. And if they could just sit in a room and go, look, boys, we've got this on lock. This initial CS2 era, this could be a FaZe era. We could go on and just win. They've won 2 tournaments already.
Yeah.
Well, like you said, while everyone's pissing about trying to agree terms and this player, that player, this player, that, forget it. Let's just head down, knuckle down, grind, and make this the FaZe era. Mate, Carrigan needs to do it.
That's all it's going to take at the minute is just a team to stop fannying about. I feel like all teams are just, on organisations and players are all just fucking about and they can't even Yeah, they can't even keep the house tidy. Like, what are they playing at?
Yeah, well,
The one organization that can, and that's even if fucking FaZe still exists. Like, what are they gonna do now? They're owned by
oh,
Complexity.
oh, I don't even know. Yeah, with that.
They're supposed to be doing something. The owners have said they're gonna look into it. So fuck knows what's gonna happen. But I can't see them folding FaZe the way they're playing at the minute.
It's a shame though if one of those rosters does have to go because Complexity are now starting to fly the flag for North America as well. So
And I guess if Twist does leave, if any of those teams make any changes now, they're gonna have to be really careful about what they do,
mm.
where they go, and who they get.
Well, watch this space. Let's see. Let's see. Um, is there any more Rostermania?
No, I mean we could go into talking about, you know,
We
who's,
never talk about Nip, which is funny. I think the less said about Nip, the better. To be fair, maybe we just leave them.
why I don't mind it. They're like what the old school.
Yeah, well, you like them because of the nostalgia reason, but they're just got no clue what they're doing at the moment with their roster.
Yeah, I mean they're a weird one because they do have players I like. Like I really like Hedrick. Um, Res can pop off now and again, but it's just not consistent enough. Um, and config can be entertaining to watch, but I wouldn't particularly want him on my team. But then you've got Hampus and Brolin. I just hope Fnatic don't try and get any of their players because I wouldn't want any of them, to be honest.
Well, yeah, uh, could get a Brolin because he's
But
benched, isn't he?
yeah, and Hampus, but I don't understand like what they're doing with him. Like, yeah, who
No
knows?
idea. The let's just. I think Rostermania we've done to a death, so we can move on to talk quickly about the recent wins, which we just touched on. FaZe performing pretty well. VP won the Roobet as well, which interestingly we predicted in the last podcast. So for anyone that thinks we don't know anything about Counter Strike, we still don't know anything about Counter Strike, but we did know that VP were going to win Roobet. That's the only thing we know.
Yeah,
Um,
we do predict quite a few finalists as well. VP of like we never talk about them, but they've been playing really well. They they still play weird. They still do weird buy rounds, but I don't hate it. I like the fact that they don't just follow the meta. I like the fact that they mix it up.
I think
Not sure I completely agree with it, but
it would be a less interesting scene without VP, wouldn't it?
yeah,
You need a VP in there just to piss people off. I think.
yeah. I find them entertaining just because they do things a bit different, and they're always like they kind of shock um, shock the casters mainly, and just surprise people. But they are good. They all play individually, play really well. Sometimes a little bit boring on T side, but um, if they get the win, they get the win. Um, that's what they're there for. But individually, they're all great players. And I watched them. I think it was against FaZe, and they were playing well. That was the toughest game I would say FaZe had.
It always is against them though. Like
Yeah.
they always struggle with those kind of games. Um, okay, what have we got next coming up then?
The Asian Cup or something, whatever it is.
Right, interesting about the Asian Cup, whatever it is. That is what it is. It's the Counter Strike Asia Championships. Only 8 teams. A couple of teams dropped out. I want to say Navi, maybe. I think.
Did,
Um,
did Liquid?
someone like that. I don't know. Yeah, exactly who it was. So surely, yeah, this is phases for the taking here. Surely this is a FaZe Mouse final or a FaZe Ents final. One of the two, whatever. FaZe and someone final. And
I mean,
and
it's like we were
FaZe.
just saying. Sorry, mate.
Go on. No.
Ents, how are they going to be now? Snappy's kind of verbally agreed to go to Falcons. Like, how are they going to play? Is Snappy going to step up? Are they all going to step up? It's like Nip, you know, aren't really that impressive. Australia said, how are they going to be with all their rumours? So all these rumours floating about is good, it's entertaining, but how is it going to affect the teams? Like, it's just so hard to say.
Yeah, and this cup feels very like banana cup to me, mainly because of the amount of teams there, but also of those 8 teams. One's a replacement team, which was the Wings Up, who replaced someone who I can't remember who. Then there's 2 other teams that made it there through qualification. The rest were invited. So
But mate, have you seen the prize pool?
yeah, I know.
Two
Yeah,
winners, first place gets 250k. Like,
that's
that's
it.
nothing to
So if
just.
FaZe go to win that, and that's 3 tournaments in what, the space of 3 months, I guess. I don't know. I don't even know how many months this, but you really start to look at them then and think this really could be something if they can hold on to everyone. And I'd be really sitting twist down, and I'd be signing up extensions and get everyone on the boat and on this jolly sail that we're going to create an era here, because
Well,
this next one is it's theirs to lose. It feels
it
like.
is. Well, there's Mouse there as well, and Mouse are doing really well. But it's like, well, like you're saying, you know, you'd get everyone signed up and, you know, give them pay rises and whatnot. Do FaZe have the money? Like, Complexity have bought them out? Can they just start throwing money at the players? They are winning, but I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen. Like, we're going to have to see what Complexity. What's the company called that owned them?
Game Square, I think.
Yeah, yeah, something like that.
Yeah,
You know,
something.
what are they going to do? I don't know.
Yeah.
Be interesting. But you mentioned it on the Instagram story actually. FaZe are now ranked number 1,
Yeah. Back
back on top.
back to their rightful place. Yeah, the rankings were updated, and they were, yeah. I
A
mean,
Mouse too.
Mouse was second.
Yeah. So do you think this is right? The rankings. I feel like it's changed a lot.
Yeah, well, a lot's it had to, 'cause so much has changed with Heroic. They've just completely dropped out. I think they're out the top 30 now, aren't they? Yeah. Um. So basically, with them changing their roster, that opened up a slot, basically, didn't it, for everyone? But yeah, I think the new rankings look pretty accurate. Um, Cloud9 just make their way into the top 10. They had a nice little run at that Thunder pick and stuff. So yeah, the interesting mover and shaker is probably Spirit, right? With our man Donk, that's been, you know, playing well.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're playing.
Yeah. He's ridiculous, man. I mean, someone's gonna pick him up. He might come to Fnatic. You never know.
Really? I don't know.
No,
What's their
absolutely
stance
no
on Russian
chance.
players? I don't know.
Yeah, absolutely no chance. But yeah, obviously Vitality have dropped down quite a lot. So only got 4 players. Complexity are doing well. They're sixth now.
So just looking at Spirit's results, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. One loss in the last 7 games, and that was to Monty. They beat Mouse, they beat Complexity, they beat Saw. It's some really good performances there, so fair play to them. Interesting to see Spirit keep rising and see what Donk does, because he is exciting, and it'll be good to see
Yeah,
him.
his rating's 1.34, which is pretty ridiculous, and he's 16, man.
Mad, isn't it? Mad.
Yeah.
All right. Well, look. Let's call it there. Let's go check out our server. See if
Yeah.
we can get some people to come on our server. We'll post the command to connect to it, the IP, I should say, in the description. If anyone wants to join us, they can. You know, just drop in, say hello.
Yeah, and just leave a comment as well, like if any of you guys want to come on, and we can make more of an effort to try and come on, and maybe communicate. It'd be good to chat more with this Counter-Strike community in general. Not that we get loads of listeners anyway, but yeah, if you are out there, give us a shout.
Yeah, we
If
want to
there's
play
anyone
some
out there.
games. We're fed up of just playing with each other. That sounds weird. We're fed
Yeah,
up of
that does sound weird.
playing Counter-Strike together and raging at each other. I want to rage with you guys, man. Come on. hit us up. And if you don't hit us up, we will see you next week. So peace out. GG.
Peace.